This is Pat with Cajun Sunshine Crafts. Welcome in. If you're new to my channel, welcome as well, and I hope you plan on sticking around. Today's video is about an amazing, very special, courageous, and inspirational lady. Her name is Cynthia Greulich. We are in the process of doing a project on our Facebook crafts group called Operation Cynthia Smile. And this all became about because Cynthia's sister Catherine thought it would be a great idea, which it was a great idea, for everyone in the crafters group to make a card and send it to Cynthia to lift her spirits and make her day. That program was given the name Operation Cynthia Smile. Cynthia served in the United States Navy in the early 80s. She was stationed on Ford Island, where she lived and worked on the Ford Island ferry boat. Ford Island was acquired by the United States Navy in 1923. As described by her sister Catherine, the founder of Operation Cynthia Smile, in quotes, she is a disabled veteran and was so proud to serve our country. She wore her uniform with dignity and respect. Cynthia struggles with a disease called ALS, or better known as the Lou Gehrig disease. ALS is a disease that affects the muscle movements like chewing, walking, and talking, to name just a few. Cynthia, as you'll see in pictures that I've posted later on in my video, has a wheelchair, and she has these gadgets on her wheelchair. These gadgets, her sister Catherine says that Cynthia uses these gadgets to be as independent as possible. She says that it makes her feel alive to share her condition and to bring awareness about this horrible disease. You can learn more about ALS at www.alsa.org. I'm going to go through this video and just kind of explain what I'm doing. Right here I am making the front of a greeting card, and knowing that Cynthia was in the Navy, coming from military background, I just knew that I had to do something based around a military theme. So my first thought was the American flag. Why something with the American flag? So I started digging around in all of my stuff to see what I had, and I just started pulling stuff out and pulling stuff out. So this is what I came up with. I used my modeling paste with some red acrylic paint and mixed that up, and I ran those through the stencils like you see me doing right here, which was quite a long process, because in between each coat of modeling paste you have to wait until it dries before you can do the next one, because if not, then you'll have a mess, because it'll get everywhere. So you'll see me go in and out with a dirty stencil and then come back with a clean stencil to put on the next layer. And I did that for a couple of layers in between, as you'll see. It's very hard working with this kind of stuff and not getting it everywhere. By the time I was finished, I had it on my nose and covering on the side of my nose and on the side of my face. But it was such an inspiration knowing that I was doing this for somebody like Cynthia. It just made my heart happy. just to be able to give her something to make her smile, because in every picture that I've seen of her that you'll see in this video, she's always had a smile on her face. She is such an inspiration, because I was feeling down and sick for, I guess, about a week and a half, and I thought I had it so bad because I just had a little cold and feeling sorry for myself. And here I turn on the internet and in a Facebook group and see the story about this courageous lady that fights this disease every day. And I just said, you know what, it's not worth it. It's how dare can I feel sorry for myself when she has to go through this with a smile on her face every day. That just says it all to me. There's not enough that I could say about this lady. I mean, she's just amazing. Right here I am cutting the cord down to size to fit on the front of my cord. As you see, I used watercolor paper, so it was a little bit thicker, and cutting through that modeling paste after it's dry, it's a little bit tougher, so it took a little bit more muscle. And then I'm going to get the edges with an ink pad just to have it stand out on the card a little bit more. Which is always, I usually forget this step because I'm new at doing this kind of stuff, and I usually forget this step, but I think it makes it just makes the card jump out at you, and it just makes it look more just more prominent, I think, on the card. And sometimes I don't know when to stop. I have OCD bad and I think everything has to be perfect, but you know, I'm trying to train myself not to be perfect, because imperfection are what makes us unique. Here I'm going to take my quick pickup tool and use the pointy end to take the remaining of the backs off of these the double stick tape, and I wanted to put that on there to help straighten out the card, to make it more stable, and plus to make it pop off the card a little bit. And then you'll see I'm going to take some art glitter glue and add some art glitter glue to the back onto the tape, just to make sure that it's good and stuck on there. Okay, now comes the fun part. I'm going to go ahead and stick that down on the front of the card, trying to get it as best as I could, and it was a little crooked, but you know what, I didn't let it bother me, because I'm trying to be better about not being perfect. So my old self would have probably started from scratch, but I'm not gonna even stress about that. I was just so pleased at the way it was coming out. Now I'm going to take some Wink of Stella and color the stars, just to give the card a little bit of sparkle, for me anyway. So once the Wink of Stella started coming out, it started coming out pretty good. But this is a clear Wink of Stella, so once it dries, it'll dry clear. So it won't be as opaque as it looks right here. It's going to be more transparent. And after it dries, I'm gonna take a white wink of Stella and just go trace over the stars to make those stars more white than the rest of the background. But you have to have sparkle on a card. You can never have too much sparkle on a card, in my opinion. So I'm almost finished with that. And like I said, I probably put too much, but you'll see it. It's going to turn out pretty good. Now I'm going to take some Nouveau drops. This is the navy blue Nouveau crystal drops, and I'm going to dot those all around the card just to give it a little bit more interest. I love playing with these things. They're so fun to play with, and they dress up a card so quick. The bad thing about it is that once you use them, you have to pretty much leave your project alone until the next day for it to dry. And this is the red berries crystal drops. And the white one is called Frost White. And here I'm just trying to balance everything out. Like I said, I'm new at this. Just kind of go as I go. I'm nothing really planned. But sometimes that's the best way. Sometimes that's the best projects. I knew what I wanted it to look like in my head. It was just to make it look like that. And I think it turned out pretty good. A couple more here. I think one more red dot. And then that's going to sit and dry overnight. And then this is Cynthia when she was on Ford Island. Okay, now I'm going to take my Tim Holtz platform, and I have these individual letters, alphabets, letters that I'm going to use to do the sentiment on the inside of the card. And it just says thank you for your service. And I kind of had trouble with this little part because the stamps sets that I used were not the same height. So when I tried stamping down on them, the two little stamps for your and then the U on the U on you for some reason didn't want to stamp all the way. I think maybe the magnets were in the wrong place. I'm not sure, but you can see I'm going to ink those a couple of times to get the ink transferred on there. And that's one good thing about that stamping platform, is that you can re-ink and re-ink as many times as you want to get it as dark as you want, because it holds it in the same spot rather than having to try to match it up if you did have to go back over it. And here you see me taking the magnet out to see if that made any difference, but now I have to take the E off of the end of service to use it after the S in service, because I only had one E. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, because when you don't have, you just improvise and you make it work. So I'm gonna ink up that E. To get that word right. And I cut out a lot of these steps. Lord, I don't know how long this video would have been if I wouldn't have, but
sorry, I'm not sure.
That was Alexa. Sometimes she talks when she's not supposed to. And I'm not sure, I think that was the last time. Yeah, that was finally the last time. And then for this, putting it in the card right here, I did ink the edges again, and I just used double-sided tape for the to stick the sentiment on the inside of the card. And then I'm gonna take this thread. It's you can't really call it twine. It's a little bit thicker than a thread. I'm not really sure what you call it, but I'm gonna use that in the inside of her card. Again, just to give it a little interest. And this is me just making stuff up as I go. I guess that's how you learn. If you don't get out of your comfort zone, then you might never learn. And I'm going to use some art glitter glue to stick that down on the inside of the card. I don't know why my camera keeps going out of focus, but I'm sorry for that. And here I am just trying to get the string to cooperate. I think that's finally. But then you'll see that the art glitter glue didn't go all the way through, so I'll have to put a little bit more on there. I should have used my glue gun, but it was not plugged in, and the last time I used it I had some difficulties, so I used the art glitter glue. And after I put the second little bit on there, then it held pretty good. That's my favorite, one of my favorite staples in the craft room. It's my art glitter glue. I use it every day for every single project that I do. And there is the card. And I sure hope she likes it. It was a joy making it. As you can see, the glitter on the front of it did dry. This is Cynthia today. And as you can see, the gadgets that she has on her wheelchair is what she uses. It's amazing. She uses it to operate her wheelchair, to go forward or backwards, or to turn, or I think Catherine said that she uses it also for the volume on the TV, to turn it louder and lower. And I mean, that's determination. That is the will to want to live, and that, I mean, just not give up is just amazing. Okay, after a lot of thinking, When I found out where she was stationed and what her duties were, I went on the internet and I googled the Ford Island and the Ford Island ferry, and I printed out some pictures off of the internet, and I used my fuse tool to make well, first of all, I cut out the images with my my crafty scissors, the ones that make the decorative edges, and I glued those to some cardstock, and then I used my fuse tool to with some page protectors to make some pockets for the pictures, and I put some goodies in it to make the pictures some shaker card pictures, like that one. And then that is going to be the front and the back cover, the glitter part. So all I'm going to do here, using my Fabri-Tac glue, is glue the front cover to a piece of this red cardstock, so the back of the white on the back of the glitter paper does not show through. And I like the Fabri-Tac glue. It's a very good glue. It's very strong smelling. If you're sensitive to smells, it's very strong smelling, but it doesn't warp your paper. I use it a lot when I make my my mini books, and it's a very good glue. That one's almost empty, so yeah, but I think I have some more. And make sure there's enough on there. Excuse me. And I swear I need a bigger craft desk. I never have enough room. It's a struggle. I know it's a struggle that we all struggle. Once I get these covers made, I'm going to go ahead and put all of the pieces together, and I've kind of have them in order as I thought they should go, the older to the newer ones. That one there right in the middle, that middle island, that was actually Ford Island. She's going to recognize all of these pictures for sure. It was very informative too. I've learned some stuff just by looking it up to prepare it for her. Okay, now I'm just trying to decide how I'm going to put it together. Now that I have it all done. So I decided to use some red, white, and blue ribbon to put in. Ended up punching holes in the covers and adding another hole in the page protectors to make a little booklet. It's red, white, and blue. And right here, I'm just going to add all of the pages in so I can see how they align up on the pages. I took the widest picture and I added 1/4 of an inch on the top and 1/4 of an inch on the bottom, so the covers would be just a little bit bigger than the pages of the book. And there's my OCD again. I'm trying to make it perfect, and then I reminded myself it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And then what I did is I lined up everything and figured out where the second hole needed to be. And I took my pokey tool and I poked a hole through and through each of the page protectors and the cover. And then I just took my hole puncher and punched holes in the page protector and in both of the covers on both sides. I just used that hole as my guide to punch it through. And then when I had that one punched, I just took the other cover and matched those up and punched a hole in the other one. Like so. And at this point I was pretty positive of how it was going to turn out, and I was getting so excited. It was very late at night, and I knew I needed to go to bed. I knew I needed to get some sleep, but I was on such a roll, and I was just so excited. I just kept going. That was the hole puncher that I used. And here you're gonna see me make a boo-boo, but I didn't want to cut this part out because I just wanted to show you that how I was delirious. I was making just some silly mistakes because it was so late. But I usually get upset when I realize that I did do something like this, but at this point I couldn't even be upset with myself. I just kind of laughed about it when I realized that all of the pictures were upside down. Right there is when I realized that they were all upside down. So I had to pull each one of them back off of the ribbon. And I was laughing at this point because it was just, I just thought it was funny. Well, so here we go. And this is the order that I wanted them in. According to the timeline and just the different shots of the different pictures. Now it's pretty much coming together here. I am just making sure that the holes are going to line up. And they are. So I'm still thinking at this point. Okay. Now I'm going to attach the other side. Which is just, this was very simple to do. I mean, and it was just fun. It was just fun. there was some interesting stories on the websites that I got those pictures from. Very interesting. Dating back to Pearl Harbor. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cut the tapes off of the ends that I used to thread. Through the book. Just making sure my pages were in the right order. And all I'm going to do is just make 2 simple little knots. And that's what's going to hold our book together. Okay, now I think, now we're going to cut some flags on the end of our ribbons, which I won't do all of them, I'll just do a few of them and then move on. And do the rest of them off camera. And right there, as you can see, I did that one backwards. So instead of having a flag, I had the point on the end of a ribbon. But it was late in my defense. It was very late. And now I'm going to cut the tape off the ends. Okay. And now all of the ribbons are cut, all of the flags are cut. And now it's just a matter of finishing the book. Go ahead and stick this to the front. Forward island. And I hope this brings back some fantastic memories for her. I hope she could remember these days in a good light. I know she was a very dedicated okay. And then I printed out 2 of the United States Navy seals, and I'm going to put one on the front of the card right here. And just want to make sure it's going to stay glued down because of the glitter that's on that page. And it does. This is the second emblem. And I cut out those gold glitter circles with some circle die cuts. And the emblems I also cut out with some circle die cuts. It was just a nesting die cut with the stitching around the die. that one to the back inside cover. Like so. And Catherine told me how much Cynthia liked butterflies. So I had just the thing to finish off this project. And that's when I remembered that I had those butterflies. In these pack of butterflies, I just so happened to have some red, white, and blue butterflies. So, and my camera will not focus on these at all, and I'm so apologize for that, because you can't see how pretty they are. They do have a little glitter to them. It's the puffy butterfly stickers, and I put an extra little glue on there to make sure that they don't fall off. Stick one right there. I wish it would focus, but I think my camera was tired too. It was ready to go to sleep also. I just have a hard time putting it down. When I'm on a roll, I just hate. I hate stopping. And I'm gonna take that very last one, red, white, and blue butterfly, and I'm gonna put it on the back of the inside cover with the other emblem. And my glue bottle decided to spit out an enormous amount of glob of glue right there. And that finished it off right there. This was such a fun project to do. And if I could just get a smile, just one smile from Cynthia, that would just make my heart so happy. This is Cynthia right here. In every single picture that you see on here, she has a smile on her face. She has a smile. It just doesn't get any better than that. And that is a picture of the Ford Island ferry that she worked on. And that's where the ferry docked. And that's Ford Island right there, the island off to the left. And that's Ford Island right there. In the background, right there. And right there with the ship and the airplanes. And that's just a picture of the ferry going by. And yeah, there you have it. And there is Cynthia with her beautiful smile. And this is a picture of her with a lot of her cards from her Operation Cynthia Smile. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate your support, and I thank you for sticking around. Bye-bye.